Robert, I want to thank you very much for the introduction. Charlie, I've learned a lot about you in the last few weeks and months, and I am impressed with the record that you are setting, and I'm equally impressed with the job that you've done regarding health care. I ran a program at the University of Massachusetts called Health Education and Learning for Black Males' Health. And that's because I had some health issues of my own. When I came back from Nigeria, I had to have a Whipple surgery. And that Whipple surgery took part of my pancreas, part of my stomach, part of my intestine, and my gallbladder are gone. And I had a little difficulty manipulating the system, and I'm staying at home trying to recuperate and saying to myself, if it's that hard for me, and I know the system as well as anybody, what about these black men on the streets out here standing up on the corner and don't know what to do, don't have a doctor, don't know how to get there, and don't have the information on how to relieve themselves of the difficulties? That's one of the reasons I thank you, Charlie Baker, for managing a healthcare system the way that you did, because it opened up opportunity to so many men who look like me. I was asked to just talk a little bit about education. I grew up in Alabama. I came here, finished high school, ran programs for children who were not being educated properly, ran programs for dropout youths, did teacher training programs, and got a Harvard education. I've been there. I know what the needs of education are. And I know what the children out here need. They need a good quality education, and it does not have to be in one specific area. Yes. It has to be multifaceted. We need jobs. Charlie Baker understands how to create jobs. Yes. He understands that people need to be trained to do those jobs. And he knows full well that we're not getting our fair share, and I'm going to hold him to his feet to the fire to make sure that he provides that opportunity for us. Last but not least, I feel honored, and I'm probably the only elected or former elected official in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts who believe that people come first. I've run on the Democratic ticket, I've run on the Independent ticket, and I've run on the Republican ticket, because I was more interested in the people than I was the party. And I've always said in my politics, people comes first. And I'm unbossed, unbought, and unafraid. And that's who Charlie Baker is, and that's why I'm supporting him.
But I think as the senator was talking about he was hitting on education, and then he was hitting on jobs and the economy. And the next speaker is a former Rhodes Scholar who has also been a great leader on the economy and economic justice, I bring up Richard Taylor.
Robert, thank you. I am proud this morning to stand with my colleagues to strongly endorse the Charlie Baker Urban Agenda. This plan was developed over a period of time in vision sessions held throughout the Commonwealth, indeed right here in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, and several of the gateway cities. His themes throughout the five-point agenda of education, affordable housing, incarceration, public safety, and economic development are focused on opportunities. Opportunities to grow, opportunities to start anew, opportunities to create jobs, opportunities to own business, opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. Our urban markets have high double-digit unemployment and thirst for opportunity and resources. Charlie's urban agenda provides both. Economic plan in particular provides for significant small business support. It provides for entrepreneurship and innovation centers throughout the Commonwealth that seek to support new startups and to connect these startups to adjacent economies. The plan ensures that MBEs will have access to public contracts for goods and services. Our confidence in the reality of this plan is buttressed by Charlie's ability to implement his plan. A plan without implementation is like falling on deaf ears. His proven exceptional leadership and management talent has been demonstrated in both the public sector and the private sector. And so for all of these reasons, I join you and my colleagues today in supporting the Charlie Baker Urban Development Plan. Thank you, Charlie.
And to get the plan off the ground, it starts with its people, and it starts with its people in the neighborhoods. And the next person who I'm going to bring up, as we all know, is an expert at this and continues to just galvanize our communities, not just locally, but throughout the Commonwealth. I'm going to bring up Mr. Nam Pham.
Good morning. I will share with you some of my thoughts regarding affordable housing. I have actually involved in housing development for the past 20 years. As a commercial banker that make lending to private developers, and as well as executive director of a nonprofit developing affordable housing. I learned 5 things. First, it is very expensive and time-consuming to build housing in Massachusetts. One of the biggest costs is the cost of land. And building housing in Massachusetts takes a long time. Indeed, longer than most of the state because of our complicated zoning and permitting requirements. Yeah. Second, the most successful housing developments are mixed use, mixed income projects, and are close to public transportation. Third, to have success, it requires collaborative efforts among state and local governments, quasi-public agencies, private investor, banks, charitable foundation, and neighborhoods. And fourth, there is no one-size-fits-all. Each community has a unique need for housing. And fifth, a stable community needs to have both renters and homeowners. With this in mind, I am excited to learn that Charlie Baker's housing plan recognizes the ever-rising need of housing in Massachusetts, and also his solutions incorporate all of the above. His plan of open up state-owned land, especially the land that are near public transportation, will go a long way to lower the cost of housing. Thus make housing more affordable and more available to working families. If you ever have to do some of the paperwork, I'm sure you would pull your hair out and say that, God, how come common sense is no longer common? However, it may not matter much if we have a lot of affordable housing unit or abundance of them if we don't have jobs. So therefore, I'm thrilled to learn to embrace Charlie housing plan that create job is the cornerstone of his housing and economic plan. Therefore, I believe that his urban plan will help to make Massachusetts great again. Thank you.
And our last speaker before we hear from Charlie is Louis Cruz, who's going to be talking about something that is crucial in the work we do, public safety. Thank you, Louis.
Well, to speak about public safety and law enforcement, we need it's a holistic approach, as all this is. It's education, employment, economy. For us in law enforcement, the biggest obstacle we face, especially in communities of color, is trust. But to me, that's not an obstacle. I see it as a challenge, and I think with the urban agenda that Charlie Baker has, we'll be able to overcome those obstacles and look at it as a challenge, as a responsibility and obligation. The most important thing is to get our communities to work with us. But how do we do that? We have to be transparent. We have to reflect our community. We have to be able to understand our community, what our cultural needs are. So we need to do cultural diversity, and also we need to diversify law enforcement. And not only in terms of having people of color, but we also need females in law enforcement because they play a key role. But to get back to make it, it's not a simple solution, but we need the trust. We need to work with our communities. We need our communities to be a part of law enforcement. It's a partnership. And once we overcome those obstacles, every community in this state will be a safe community. For the most part, it'll reduce crime with the other agendas that we have, employment, education, working together as a holistic approach. That is the agenda I think that law enforcement has to take. It's working with the community, get them to buy into working and being part of their community to save it, to make it safer, and not only that, empowering our community. So we take ownership of our community, and we use law enforcement as a partnership, not as it's going to be we own law enforcement. They work for us. We work together. That's how public safety is going to work under the new, hopefully, new governor of Massachusetts. Thank you.